So what's the plan going forward? Let's talk a little bit about this. When you look at this, how do they look? 3-7, they're not making the playoffs. They could win out and still not make the playoffs, and I have huge concerns about them winning out. So how do you save the season? What's the plan for the season moving forward?
So focus obviously turns somewhat towards Watson, right? So you want to evaluate things with Watson. Now, I think that winning against Tampa Bay can at least give you the, however far-fetched it is, and I'm not saying this is realistic in any sense, but the illusion that playoffs are still a statistical chance. And even that illusion does make his games more valuable as long as that's still a possibility. If it's still like, oh, what if he runs the table? I think that makes his games more valuable at that point because it feels, at least to the players and fans, like they're still playing for something, even if it's a long shot, right? And I agree with you, they're not going to make the playoffs, but just creating that hope, and hope is a powerful thing, does help, I think. So I think winning this next game would be important in that regard. And then you turn your focus towards the defense, right? So I believe Joe Woods will lose his job in the offseason, as well as Mike Prefer. And I don't think that they will lose their job before that because I think that it will have to come from above Stefanski. I don't think Stefanski is going to pull the trigger on anything like that. So I think it would have to come from Barry. So I think it'll be in the offseason. So I think you start looking, I put out an article with a number of DC candidates. There's good guys out there to get. There's up-and-comers. There's veteran coaches. But there's a number of defensive coordinators you could bring in to do this job. So you start back-channeling that information. You also evaluate your defense for who you want to be a part of this thing long-term, right? Who are the guys that I want to be a part of my defense going forward, and who are guys that I don't want to be a part of this program anymore? So I think there's an evaluation phase. Obviously, Watson is a huge part of this. But, yeah, I think that this defense is going to be a new DC with a new philosophy, and you need to decide who you're going to keep as a part of that going forward. So that evaluation and watching Watson will be what the rest of the season's about.